Hey, what's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to Tech Conversations. Firstly, if you haven't already, make sure to check out Lux Algo. Lux Algo has some of the best trading indicators and AI agents for backtesting, used by over 15,000 traders, including myself. And I've covered many of their premium indicators in the past on my channel. We'll actually take a look at one of their premium indicators later on in this video. But right now, if you sign up to Lux Algo by using my link in the description below, you can get up to 25% off their premium indicators. Keep in mind, you can get 30 days risk-free, so why not try them out? So go ahead and check out Lux Algo. I'll put a link to them in the description below. Also, make sure to check out the Discord, completely free to join. I'll put a link to it in the description below as well. We're almost at 8,000 members, so thank you to everyone that's joined our Discord. Now let's get right into today's video. So today, I want to talk about a signal for SPY, or the S&P 500 index, that has been accurate 21 out of 21 times since 1980. And it's also a signal that was just triggered this week. So I want to share this signal with you. And as a disclaimer, remember that past performance does not guarantee future results, so things may very well be different this time, but you should be at least aware of this signal and or indicator and make your own assessment on the matter. Now, let me first give you guys a quick recap of this week because it was a pretty insane week. And some of this that we're going to talk about will play into the signal that was just triggered, which again we'll talk about here in a little bit. So, firstly, SPY hit a 52-week high this week. Not only that, it hit an all-time high this week as well. So it hit 664.88. That was on Thursday. And so if we take a look here, SPY now year to date is up 12.5%. In the last year, SPY is up 16.2%. And in the last 5 years, SPY is up almost 97%. Now, on top of all of this, we also had some very interesting things happen. So on Wednesday, September 17, we had Jerome Powell cut interest rates for the very first time this year. And again, this will come into play when we talk about this signal here in a little bit. But if we take a look here, policymakers opted for a quarter-point cut to the central bank's benchmark rate in line with expectations. So it's now set at 4% to 4.25%. So we had Jerome Powell cut interest rates this week. We had SPY hit all-time high, 52-week high. Now let's also quickly take a look here at the Fear and Greed Index. This one's just for fun here. And remember, the Fear and Greed Index is a way to gauge stock market movements and whether stocks are fairly priced. So the theory is based on the logic that excessive fear tends to drive down share prices and too much greed tends to have the opposite effect. So if you take a look here, right now we are in the greed section. So we have a reading of 62. So we're not in extreme greed, but we are in this greed section here. Now, with that being said, let's head on over to TradingView now. Let's take a look at the chart for SPY. I want to share something very interesting with you guys here. So let's head on over to TradingView. So I'll put a link to TradingView in the description below. And we're currently looking at the weekly chart here, and we are looking at SPY. Now, before I show you this very interesting thing, like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to show you one of Lux Algo's premium indicators here. So this is going to be their signals and overlays premium indicator here. So here's what this indicator will look like. I want to show you some of the features with this indicator because there's a lot of them, but I just want to show you some of them here. So this indicator comes with confirmation and exit signals as well. And so confirmation signals, so like this red box or green box here, aim to confirm any potential action that a trader might take, and they're more effective when used in confluence with other features and analysis, right? So here we had this red confirmation signal. So if you wanted to short SPY, this could have helped you with that idea there. And as you can see, we did have a pullback. Same thing here, right? We had this green confirmation signal. So if you were looking to go long, it could have helped you take a potential action on that as well. We also have exit signals. So here's an example of an exit signal. So you'll see these little X's here. So these aim to help traders find areas to consider exiting a position based on a previous confirmation signal. We also have the smart trail here. So this trail you see in the middle, this blue and then red shaded area here. So an uptrend is indicated when the price is above the smart trail, and a downtrend is when the price is below the smart trail. So like right here. Now the smart trail also displays support in blue or resistance in red here. So these could be potential areas of support and resistance, as you see here or as you see here. Now we also have reversal zones, so this red and green shaded area here. So each zone is designed to help the user potentially find tops and bottoms. So this is how you can potentially use this premium indicator. Go ahead and check out Lux Algo. I'll put a link to them in the description below. Now with that being said, let's take a look here at this very interesting thing I want to share with you guys here. And this is going to take us all the way back to 2020 here. So what I'm going to first do here is, again, I'm going to show you, we're going to take a look at a chart pattern that has been there for 5.5 years, and that is starting to get very interesting. So let's first draw a trend line. Again, going all the way back to March of 2020, all the way to present day. So I'm going to draw a trend line that looks something like that right there. Something like that. Let me actually extend it a little bit. So maybe something like that right there. And so if we take a look here, right, this trend line has acted as an area of support many times during many nasty events like the pandemic, the bear market of 2022, the massive decline that we saw earlier in the year. So it hasn't acted as an area of support for, again, 5.5 years here. So this is a trend line here. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and clone this trend line, and I'm going to drag it to the top here. So I'm going to drag it up something like that right there. So notice here we have a couple of different touches. So we have few touches here, and then notice here, take a look at what's going on right here, right? Something very interesting is happening here. So this is a well-known bullish chart pattern. We have two trend lines here. They're parallel to each other and they're sloping upwards. So again, this is the ascending channel chart pattern. This is a bullish chart pattern. We have SPY making higher highs. We have SPY making higher lows. And so we connect some of those higher highs and we connect some of those higher lows, and we get two trend lines, one acting as an area of support, one is acting as an area of resistance here. And so what we're looking for here is a breakout out of this channel. And as you can see, this week, we may have seen that here. Again, we see that SPY went up and closed above this trend line here, the upper trend line of this ascending channel chart pattern. So the question is this a massive buy signal or not? I'll let you guys decide. Let me know your thoughts below. But now, what about the signal that we wanted to talk about that has been 100% accurate 21 out of 21 times? Let's go ahead and take a look at that here. So let's first start by taking a look at this right here. And I apologize if it's a little blurry. This was the best I could get it to. But let me read it for you here. So again, we talked about earlier that there was a rate cut earlier in the week. And so let's take a look at what that might mean for the market. What has happened in the past when we've had a rate cut? So let's take a look. So yes, the Fed has cut near all-time highs and the bulls loved it. So below in this chart here, this is going to show the S&P 500 returns after the Fed cuts within 2% of an all-time high for the S&P 500. So as you can see, this starts from 1980 and it goes all the way to the rate cut we had in November of 2024. And remember, we just had a rate cut this past Wednesday, which you don't see on this chart, but it does meet all the criteria. So we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But what's interesting here, as you can see, kind of the performance for SPY in the next month following this rate cut, in the next 3 months, in the next 6 months, and in the next year. And what do we notice about the next year column here? SPY has always been green 1 year later. And if you take a look at the return, average return 13.9%. Median return 9.8%. Again, remember, past performance does not guarantee future results. But this is very interesting to know and to keep in mind here. Now, we take a look here. These last two entries, one was September 18th of last year. One was November 7th of last year. So we can see here, right? Both of these were blank. Why? Because when this was posted, both of those dates from 1 year in the future had not passed. But September 18th, 2025 did just pass. So was SPY green 1 year later? Yes, it was. So from September 18th, 2024 to September 18th, 2025, SPY is up about 17%. So this is also green right here. And of course, when November 7th comes, we'll be able to see if SPY is green here. I think it will be, but there's still some time there. So as you can see, right, so far 21 out of 21 times since 1980 that this has happened, SPY is green 1 year later, and by quite a bit, as we can see here. Now, like I mentioned, Wednesday we had a rate cut. Wednesday we were within a 2% all-time high. So the question is then, what will SPY be in 1 year? What will SPY be on September 17th of 2026? If it follows this pattern that we've seen, it should be green in 1 year, and it should be up quite a bit. But again, past performance does not guarantee future results. Just something to keep in mind, something just really interesting. So again, let me know what you guys think will happen in a year from now for SPY. Do you think that this signal here will continue to have a 100% win rate after 1 year? If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Check out the Discord, link to that in the description below. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think, and I will see you guys next time.